Greetings, beautiful earthlings. My name is Star. If you are new here, I don't know how you found me, but I am super grateful to have you. And if you are returning, y'all the real MVP, you already know. Today, my friends, I am talking about a deck that I found on TikTok, and I do have a lot to say about it before we get into the review. So if you guys are super impatient, you don't care what I have to say, I will put some timestamps in the pinned comment below for you guys, okay? But for those of you guys who do want to stick around here with me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys know my birthday is coming up here, so last year on my birthday I did get the Golden Thread Tarot. I was really excited to get it and review it for my birthday, and that's kind of what I wanted to do again this year, was get like a really special deck to review for my birthday. I saw this deck on TikTok, so if future me can throw that TikTok in here really fast. That is the actual TikTok that I saw where I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I really want to review this. I think this is a fantastic idea, fantastic concept, right? This indie company makes their own stuff in-house, their own deck, like the cards, the book, the box, everything, right? And I thought this would be such a fantastic concept to review and to bring to the channel for those of you guys who don't know about it, because I really want to bring more attention to indie deck creators, but it's really hard because I don't have the money to throw into indie decks. Usually they're very expensive because they are handmade and everything. So I did find this one. It is on Etsy, right? I will throw that link in there for you guys and everything. Let's go ahead and take a look at Raven+Rogue's Etsy page really fast. If I remember correctly, I do think there are over 8,000 sales. I don't have any way of knowing which of those are this deck specifically without going through all of the reviews, right? So I think it's fair to say they do have lots of sales on this deck, especially because there are already a couple of reviews up on YouTube about this deck, and they do also, make a lot of videos about mass producing this deck. So that's really the allure of this deck to me, was the fact that it's made by an indie company in-house, and it's a really cool concept. So if you guys have not heard about this deck, we're talking about the Tarotorial Deck by Raven+Rogue, and it's meant to be kind of like tarot flashcards, but in deck form, okay? So I didn't look into this deck before I bought it. I didn't watch any reviews, none of that. I really wanted to be surprised by it. I really wanted to just be blown away and give you guys a really honest review. I will say, if any of you guys are in the market for this deck, please be prepared to wait about 2 months to get it. Same thing as my Golden Thread, right? That took a long time because it's recycled plastic and they have to make each one when you order it. This was kind of the same thing. They do tell you on their Etsy page, there's a mass influx of orders. There's a whole issue with USPS right now, and it did take me I ordered it July 19th and it just got here yesterday, and today's the 9th, I think. So it did take quite a few weeks for it to, get processed and everything and sent out. It got lost in the ninth circle of USPS hell for a while, and I had to call and have an investigation done because it just was not showing up on shipping. Apparently this is a big issue that's been going on with this this postal office in Missouri. Apparently. I don't work for the post office. I don't know what they're going through, right? I was just trying to make sure that my package was not lost. So, like I said, be prepared to wait. And you'll see that on all of these reviews. Again, lots of people are like, this wait was ridiculous, but the deck is so worth it, blah, blah, blah. So please don't, raise hell to Pamela of Raven+Rogue. It's not her fault that these decks are taking forever to get to you. She is doing everything, her and her partner do everything themselves. So that's why I was trying not to raise hell, because I know they're doing everything themselves and they're dealing with so very much. So that's why I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention, because of how incredible it is that these small businesses go out of their way to make products like this. I will say the opinion that I have now of this deck, now that I've gotten it, is a little bit different than when I first saw it. Because when I first saw it, right, it was the actual TikTok that I saw and I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. I literally bought it from there. Didn't look into it, nothing. Didn't look at reviews, nothing. I just bought it because I was like, this is incredible. I want to support this. I want my audience to support this. I want to bring attention to this. I do really, really want to give like fantastic praise to this team because it's a great idea. It is. It's a great idea. It's a great deck. It's amazing what they're juggling. And it's amazing that so many people have taken to this deck. And so many people love this idea. And so many people are buying it, right? Because so many people are really getting interested in tarot and they really are trying to find new ways of actually studying the tarot and not just trying to find their shortcuts around it like we've seen time and time again in the tarot industry. So I do want to say that to begin with because I don't want you guys to think anything that I'm saying is like intentionally mean or trying to, you know, drag this small business or anything. That was not my intention with purchasing it. It is not my intention with reviewing it, and it will not be my intention you know, going forward. I really, really do love this idea so very much. But I am going to show you guys here you know, the ins and outs of this deck and what I genuinely think about it as someone who reviews a lot of tarot decks, and especially for beginners, okay? So first off, let's take a quick look at the box as we do. Sorry if you guys hear that buzzing, that's my watch. So this box, I do want to say, is soft. It's like that soft suede material. I was very impressed, and I will actually throw in the TikTok that I made of opening that really fast. Because I did make that because it is such like beautiful packaging, right? They have the black paper, they have their, you know, their special stamp and everything. And there is a lot of care that has gone into this. There is, you know, so much thought and just so much care. And even though they're swamped with packages, they don't, you know, cut corners on any single one of these packages. And even now they've started giving out stickers with their newest packages, right? Like they really take so much care with every single package that they send out. And people are buying these in bulk. People are, you know, in the comments on TikTok are like, I bought 2 of these, or I bought 5 of these, or I'm gonna buy another one. Like people really love this. So that's, you know, why I wanted to bring this to you guys, is to see how you feel about it here on YouTube, my friends that do all of these reviews with me, okay? So here's your box. It is a flip top box, and I do want to say first off, this is a flip top box because it is an indie company. They do make these themselves. They are not mass produced. They are not sold on Amazon. So it has been confirmed by Raven+Rogue. There are no listings on Amazon. If you see this deck on Amazon, they are fake. This deck is exclusively sold by Raven+Rogue on their Etsy, and I will drop that link in the description box for you guys. It is the one that I purchased from, and I do believe their shop is called Oak Grove Merc, okay? So for those of you guys who come see this video, you know, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months from now and say, well, I bought mine from Amazon and it's the same as that. It's not, and they're doing a whole lot to get it taken off of Amazon, as most of these companies do, okay? So enough about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at this box. I'm trying my very best not to ruin this box. I really did love, you know, everything that went into this box. Here's your front. There's your side. Okay, it says Tarotorial all over it. I will say there is no like ISBN, again, because it's not mass produced. And here's what the back of the box says. if you guys want to take a quick like pause and read that. So this does talk about being the perfect training deck for those who want to expand their knowledge on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. Think of them as tarot flashcards. So keep that in mind, that little blurb of what I just said. Okay, this first sentence, Tarotorial is the perfect training deck for those who want to expand their knowledge of the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. That's very important to know. This deck probably couldn't and probably shouldn't be used on its own as a training deck. I'm sure some people will use it that way, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong. Everybody learns differently, right? I do believe that this deck should be used as a companion with the Rider-Waite so that you can see the imagery. The reason that I want to read that sentence to you guys again is because of the booklet, okay? So I will say first off, you guys did see that TikTok I made about opening it. It did come with these little cards at the top. This one here, I'm not going to show you, has a coupon code on it. And this one says, cleaning your new tarot deck. This does tell you guys you can stick it under the moon, you can stick it in some salt, you can smoke cleanse it, you can meditate with it, and you can sleep with it under your pillow. So that's great. I love that. Please remember, again, this is meant to be marketed toward beginners, and I would assume like brand new beginners tarot. The reason that I reiterate that is because of the book. So it is a small book. It's one of those little eight-fold book things, 8-page, 4-fold, 8-page book things. There we go. All this has in here is spreads. Okay, I would not initially have an issue with that if it was teaching you the point of spreads, right? Like the Golden Thread had one of these little accordion book things too, and there was a little blurb in the beginning about, you know, what spreads are for and how you can use the 3-card spread in, you know, multiple different readings and the versatility of a 3-card spread, right? This one does not address a 3-card spread whatsoever. That bothers me a little bit because it is for brand new beginners, and the very first spread you have on here when you open this is a True Love spread. This is a 6-card spread. It gives you the position of each card. Perfect for identifying what will happen in a romantic relationship. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with that one because this is kind of feeding into this thing that tarot is all about love and relationships, and is he gonna come back? We've seen that time and time again with tarot readers picking this bone with other tarot readers about this is not what tarot is for, right? Quit feeding that garbage to your clients, quit feeding that garbage to beginners of tarot, because that's not what tarot is about, right? Tarot is about working with your higher self and like bettering yourself and working with your deities and communication, and it's just supposed to be about self-improvement, okay? I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna digress because I can go off on that tangent forever. If you guys want to hear me talk about that one, let me know in the comments. I will do a separate video on that one, okay? But the second spread in here is a success spread. Again, this is a 5-card spread. Then there is the Celtic Cross, which we are all familiar with, is a 10-card spread. On the back, there is a Spirit Guide spread, which is an 8-card spread. Okay, so that's all that you have in this book. It doesn't tell you anything about a 3-card spread or a 2-card spread or even a single daily pull or none of that stuff. And I feel like that's because you can just kind of assume that beginners already either know that or have found that information elsewhere. Okay, I will give them the benefit of the doubt on that one, that yes, technically beginners will trip over that information everywhere. I feel like if this was gifted to a brand new beginner to tarot though, that's a little misleading that they're like, the first thing I'm gonna do with my deck is a True Love spread. Kind of bothers me, but most people, again, will tell you, I've never even looked at my book. I don't even care about the book. I throw the book away, all of that stuff, right? So let's move on and let's look at the cards. Okay, so here we go with the cards. And this is what it looks like. Here's your back. That's the same logo that you had on the box, right? And these are pretty much normal card size. They are glossed, I will give them that. And here is what they look like. So I will not do like a card by card walkthrough of this one like I would normally, because again, this is an indie company. I would really like for you guys to go check it out if you really want this deck, if you really feel like this is going to help you. I feel like doing this card by card thing is going to be a little bit detrimental to this business, because this is how they make their money. And I feel like if you guys see these, you know, every single card in this deck, you're going to have that information. You're not going to care about buying it, right? So this is probably the one deck that I won't do the actual walkthrough on, but I do want to show you guys what's on this deck. Okay, so here you have in your majors, it does say Major Arcana up there. There's your number, there's your title, here's your keywords. Right here at the top, you have a description of the Rider-Waite card. This, let me keep going with what I'm gonna say. Okay, there's your description of the Rider-Waite Smith card. Here is your, I would say, divinatory message for the upright. There is, you know, the elements involved with that. And you'll see on other cards, like it does have the zodiac signs that would be involved, right? That's getting kind of further into things like decans. I don't know if it's called decans or deacons within astrology, okay? And then when you look at the reversed, it does say reversed. There's your keywords, and there's your divinatory message for the reversed. So I'm gonna talk first about this description of the Rider-Waite imagery. This is why I said I feel like this deck should be used as a companion with a Rider-Waite Smith deck. This should not be used by itself, because anyone who has not seen the Rider-Waite Smith deck, who is not familiar with the Rider-Waite Smith deck, is going to be relying on this description pretty heavily for things that aren't too very important to the flashcard information of this deck, right? I also feel like adding the elements in there for these cards is just a little much for brand new beginners, because now you're throwing extraneous information in there. But I will say this is important, and I do understand why it has been included in these cards, right? Because it is important, and the longer you go about your tarot journey, you do need to know these things. You do need to know the elements and the zodiac signs involved with this and things like that. But for brand new beginners that pick up this deck, I feel like they're gonna be a little bit overwhelmed with something like the extraneous description of the Rider-Waite Smith imagery and the elements and things like that, and they're going to get a little bit hyper focused on, why do I need this energy? It's on the card, it must be important. Why do I need it? How does this affect my reading, right? I have seen this happen all the time, where brand new beginners will literally gobble up everything that you give them. So if you're giving them all of this information, they're gonna think it's important because you're giving it to me, so I must need to know it. I must have to memorize it. I am stressed out because I can't focus on the divinatory meaning as well as all of this extraneous information, okay? So I do feel like this deck could have been done a little bit stripped down with the keywords, the divinatory meaning, reverse, keywords, divinatory meaning. I'm sure a deck like that exists. I'm sure it does. I haven't found it, but I'm sure it does, because that's kind of what everybody needs, right? I feel like if I would have bought this deck at the beginning of my tarot career, I would have had to rewrite these cards without the description, without the elemental information, without the zodiac information, and use separate flashcards just to focus on understanding that information before I started using these. Because when you throw extraneous information at brand new beginners that are already in over their head, already overwhelmed with 78 cards worth of keywords, and then the reverse of those, and then trying to learn the divinatory meanings, adding extraneous stuff is just going to get them a little overwhelmed, and they're going to put this down. They're not going to want to work with it, and they're going to either be pushed away from it for a time, or, you know, they're going to find a second wind and come back and take a second stab at this. But I know from my own experience, if I had started with this deck, I probably would have made it through the majors and put it down. I probably would have hyperfixated on memorizing this information in the majors and then been real burnt out and not been able to do anything with the suits. I will say that everybody learns different. So maybe kids that are really good at studying tarot will pick this up right away and will do fine with it. Kids that are more like imagery driven might use this as a companion with their deck and be just fine with it. They might be able to, you know, put these side by side and do these flashcard type of thing and be just fine with it. I feel like somebody who has this deck and only this deck in their toolbox, it's going to take them a long time to learn it. And this is, again, this is a very common issue that we find with everything across the board with teaching beginners, you know, tarot as it is, because beginners will get caught up on very small, tedious things like memorizing keywords. How do I memorize 78 cards worth of keywords and then all of the reverse keywords? When the keywords are not supposed to be followed black and white by the letter, right? They're just kind of there to guide you on the meaning of the card so that you can learn it in essence. And this is why imagery is so important, because most people now that are teaching tarot to beginners are teaching them how to read it intuitively by looking at the pictures. What does the picture tell you? Read it as a storybook, right? I do understand that this was made for a different type of learner, and I'm not knocking that at all. I'm not, because I do feel like these types of things need to exist for people that learn this way. I just know from my specific experience with beginners, the things that they will kind of pick and choose when they're learning tarot. And I just know that this is just a smidge too much. And I feel like the same thing with this book is a little misleading. Just a smidge, right? If we had thrown something in there about a daily spread and a 3-card spread and then given the other spreads, I feel like that would have been okay. But for a brand new beginner to look at this and see a 6-card spread, an 8-card spread, a 10-card spread, and that's their introduction to spreads, that feels a little much from my perspective, my opinion, okay? Like I said in the beginning though, I don't want to knock this deck. I don't. I was very excited about it. I am still very excited to bring it to you guys. I'm still very excited to bring attention to it on this platform. I'm still very excited to bring attention to it to my audience, because I do feel like a lot of you guys are looking for flashcards when it comes to tarot. A lot of you are. And a lot of you are looking to create your own flashcards in tarot. And I do feel like this is a very helpful supplement to your Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I do. 100,000%. I will always recommend this with a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, okay? So that is going to be my final opinion on what I have to say about this book. I will say, if you're reading about this deck, I will say that if you're reading through the comments on whether it be TikTok or Etsy, you know, the reviews or anything, you're going to hear people kind of nitpick about the box or the book or something like that. Please just keep in mind, this is why it is important to be informed about the products that you are purchasing, okay? Because this is made by an indie company. So they are putting their heart and soul into this product. And I feel like maybe down the line, Raven+Rogue could make something like a small introduction booklet for beginners that can be purchased on their site, or a small like supplemental thing to go with this deck. I do feel like purchasing this deck by itself, having this as your first deck as a beginner, would be a little bit much to ingest. And I feel like there is still something here that needs to be added to the mix to break it down a little bit. Again, I haven't created my own tarot deck, right? I just review them. And I like to review ones that beginners are specifically drawn to, and I like to look at the pros and cons of either how this deck would work for beginners, where it could be faulty for beginners, where it could flourish for beginners, things like that. Okay, so please take my review with a grain of salt, friends. I don't need anybody getting mad at me because I did not give this a glowing review. I would say out of 10 stars, I would probably give this a 7 out of 10 on its own. On its own as a beginner deck. Okay, it's not 10 out of 10. It's not the end all be all cure all of beginner tarot information, but nothing is, right? And that's because everybody learns so differently. I just realized my table is right here in the corner, and that's bugging me, so if you keep seeing me look over there, that's why. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna lighten up the mood here a little bit, okay? And I am gonna say, if this deck calls to you, if you feel like this would be a helpful tool for you on your learning journey, whether you are a brand new beginner to tarot or you are an intermediate tarot reader, like you can read tarot, you know the tarot, but you still feel like there's some gaps in your learning history, I think this would be a helpful tool for you. I feel like I'm still going to use this for reference. I've been doing tarot for about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years, 2017. I can't math. So I feel like anyone at any level can utilize this deck. I do. I feel like even influencers in the tarot community can utilize this deck when taking pictures of certain tarot cards for things like posts. If you want to say like, let's go over the High Priestess card today, taking a picture of the High Priestess Rider-Waite-Smith card with the High Priestess Tarotorial card is going to be a helpful, quick ingestion of information for your viewers, whether they read the caption you put on there or not. Okay, so I do feel like this deck has its benefits. I do. I genuinely do. And I do feel like it's an extremely fair price for the fact that these beautiful, wonderful people make this in-house. They make each one of them by hand, they package each one of them by hand, and they're dealing with a whole lot of mess. So I don't want anything that I said in this review to overshadow my true feelings about like the deck, about the company, about any of that. I do feel like maybe Raven+Rogue had created this and they didn't realize they had made such a hit and got a little buried under their success, because I do feel like they shouldn't stop here. So if either of you from Raven+Rogue are watching and you've made it this far in the video, you didn't stop when I was critiquing you, first of all, thank you. But I do feel like you shouldn't stop here. Don't stop with your hit, okay? Don't stop, because you guys know what you're doing with tarot and with teaching tarot and with breaking things down in tarot. So whether it be a coloring book or a guidebook or a new set of flashcards teaching spreads or teaching the importance of colors or the importance of the elements and the zodiac signs or whatever it may be, I feel like anything you guys can do to supplement this deck is only going to help you in the long run, and it's going to show that you understand that this is not the end-all be-all of teaching tarot and that you can still improve on your creation. And I know that's gonna probably be a while in the future because you're buried under your work, and I get that. And I'm, like I said, I'm 1000% behind you guys, and if I could tip each one of you, I would, without like buying more product, right? Because I don't want to buy more product to support you and then bury you under more work. When I don't really want more product, I just want to like tip you for the everything that you're going through, right? This has been a really eye-opening experience to the world of the indie deck making process, everything that goes on behind it, not just the actual making, the thought behind the actual product itself, the execution of the product, the packaging of the product, and then the social media creation of like hyping up your product, because it doesn't just stop with the product, right? Like people are buying it and that's it. No, you have to hype it up and you have to keep hyping it up, and that's what they're doing on TikTok, and that's how I found this deck. So in conclusion, if you guys made it this far in the video, I really greatly appreciate you. I know a lot of people don't like when I start saying things about decks that are not sunshine and rainbows and gun drops, but I want you guys to understand that my channel is never going to be about blowing sunshine up your behind, okay? I'm not, because when I look at a deck, I look at it from the lens of how can beginners utilize this? How can an intermediate reader use this? How can a professional reader use this? How is it going to help everyone? How is it going to hurt everyone? How can it be improved? Because ultimately I'm looking at things that I would want addressed when I'm creating a deck, right? So again, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I genuinely do. I don't like giving reviews that aren't 1,000 sparkles, right? I don't. It hurts my heart because I do want the video to be watched. I want you guys to see everything that I have to say about the deck, but I know it doesn't really work that way, right? People want to hear what they want to hear, and then that's it. So, like I said, if you guys are interested in this deck, I will have that link in the description box for you guys where you can purchase it. Don't forget to follow Raven+Rogue across their socials. I did also forget to say that I saw this quite a while ago, and I forgot all about it until recently, but I did post a TikTok on my Instagram of a different creator talking about this tarot deck. Yeah, like I had completely forgotten about it until I saw that girl come across my feed again, and I was like, I know your face. Why do I know your face? And it took me a little while to put the pieces together and realize, like, I have seen this deck. She is talking about this deck on TikTok, and this is a very sensationalized deck all over the place. I'm just not quite hearing about it on YouTube or on Facebook or, you know, other platforms outside of TikTok, but I do feel like this deck is gaining a lot of traction, and if you guys have not heard about it yet, I'm so glad that you could hear it here first, and I really hope that you consider checking it out, whether it be, you know, on TikTok or their shop or what have you. I do feel like this is a really great way to get around making flashcards for yourself. I personally am the type of learner that I have to write things out to internalize it, so this would be only as helpful to me as being able to rewrite the information a couple times, but you know, everybody learns differently, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys made it to the end, please give me a very big thumbs up. You know, that helps me out so very much, and it is a free way that you can support my channel. I really, really appreciate every single one of you guys that are here and that watched this video and that interacted and commented, and let me know what you think about this deck, okay, for realsies. What do you think, honestly? Do you love this idea? Do you love this concept? Do you feel like it's too much? Do you feel like I'm being a little bit too hard on this deck? What do you have to say? Okay, I genuinely want to hear it. I've been asking people left and right what they think about this deck to get like honest opinions, and the people that I've asked haven't even seen this deck. So I want to know what you have to hear, what you have to say about it, okay? And you guys already know that I also have my own shop. You can check out my link tree in the description box. Everything that I have up here, you guys can find on my shop. I do have these little Ankh earrings and a whole like set, and I do wire wrap crystals now. So like Super 7s, I will have black tourmaline. I'm getting that one again, and I'm going to also be putting blue kyanite on my site so that you guys can have access to the wire wrapped crystals that I love so very much. I wear them every single day. So I hope that you guys have a beautiful, wonderful day wherever you are when this video reaches you, my friends, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Namaste.